February wrap-up and March to be read. So I'm not going to leave much of an intro here because it's quite obvious. Can I just say that I hate the month of February? It is the shortest month. I just can't stand it. Does anybody else feel the same way as me? Is it just me that hates the month of February? I just am like, why is it so short? What's going on? I feel like I can get nothing done. My bill cycle for paying bills is all messed up because it's a short month. I'm just like, this is annoying. So let's get on to the books I've read. What a great segue. The first book I read in February is Beautiful Creatures by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I'm not going to say too much about it because I have a video on it for the book as well as the movie. So definitely go check it out. I'll link it somewhere about here somewhere. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5. So I definitely really liked it. It's a big hunker of a book though, just be warned. And the only bad thing I have to say about it is it took me about 250 pages just to get really delve into the story. Yeah, that's all I had to say about it. Go check out the review. The second book I read is The Best Night of Your Pathetic Life by Tara Alter-Brando. I actually quite enjoyed this one. It had mixed reviews on it. It's a very, very short book. It takes place from a point of view of a girl named Mary Gillihooley. What a weird name. She's a high school senior, and every year her school does the scavenger hunt, and whoever gets the most points, and so it's about the whole night of doing the scavenger hunt and her figuring out some secrets about her best friends and all this other kind of stuff. I liked it for the scavenger hunt part of it. I thought that was a really cool thing. I wish I would do a scavenger hunt. I like that aspect. The part I didn't like was the kind of friend drama over a boy, and I was like, you know, girl stuff. I think I gave this one, I'm just guessing here, a 3 out of 5 because, it was a good book. It wasn't my favorite. It didn't wow me. I didn't hate it. It was just it was a good read for me for a month. If you just want a flyby read, this is your go-to book. The book I read is Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. I read this one because the movie came out on February 14th and I planned to go see it. I told you guys I was going to do a book and movie review of it, but honestly, I have not had time to go see the movie, and that is because last 2 weeks, I got hit with a cold. It just hit me like a ton of bricks these last couple weeks, and so I just didn't have time to go see the movie, and I just didn't want to do anything. Couldn't film videos because I thought it all congested. I still might, I don't know. Do I? But, I'll be honest with you, I'm not even aching to go see the movie because I know a lot of people have told me how much different it is. But, so I think I'm just going to wait till it comes out on DVD, honestly. I'm not in any rush. I'm sorry to inform you guys if you're all looking for that. If you still want me to do a book review on it, I definitely will. Just let me know in the comments below. Because I really enjoyed this book. Surprise, surprise. I have a love-hate relationship with Nicholas Sparks. He has a formula for writing books and movies and all that kind of stuff. But I really enjoyed this book, and this book is different from his usual books. And I will tell you why right now. This book is basically about a girl named Katie who shows up at a North Carolina town, and it's about her starting her life over again, and she meets a guy named Alex who has 2 kids. You learn he's a widow, which I have a hard time reading books like that just because it's so sad. I do not like feeling sad. Ugh, I hate it. But what I really liked about this book is that there was a clear villain in this book. And usually Nicholas Sparks, either his villains or somebody's dying, or it's just relationship problems, but this one there was a villain. Katie, I don't know if I'm going to spoil it. If I am, I don't know. I think you can tell by the previews of the movie. Her husband physically abused her, and the book is all about her, it's about her relationship with Josh, but my favorite part of the book, which really made me love this book, flashbacks of her relationship with her husband and how she escaped that, and she planned these things, and it was just crazy reading that. It was a suspenseful part of the book, and I enjoyed reading that. I don't necessarily feel those kind of feelings when I read Nicholas Sparks. It's usually just kind of loving stuff, sad stuff, but this one was very suspenseful, and you were rooting against someone, which I really enjoyed. So this is definitely one of my, I don't know if it's my favorite Nicholas Sparks. I have to think about all the Nicholas Sparks I've read, but it's one of the top 3 I've read. So if you are not a fan of Nicholas Sparks and you are thinking all his books are the same, definitely pick this one up. It's different. I like it. I highly recommend it. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 because I really enjoyed it. If you want a more in-depth review, let me know below. I will be happy to do one for you. Carrie Diaries by Candace Candy B is what I call her. So yeah, if you don't know who Candy B is, she is author of, I forget if her book is the same, but it was based off of the HBO series Sex and the City, which I've watched before. I haven't read any of those books though, so yeah. But this, they made a TV show on the CW, and I quite like it. This book is very odd. Odd in the way where there was times I liked it, there was times I was annoyed by it, there was just times, I think it's a typical teenage book, honestly. There was just a lot of characters in there that I want to punch in the face. Mainly number one, Sebastian. Let me tell you right now, for people that watch the show, and I am sorry to break your bubble, but if you watch the show, you're like, oh, Sebastian's a good guy, a good heart. He may seem kind of jerky, but he's definitely a nice guy. Let me tell you, in the book, he is the worst guy I've ever read about in my life. I just can't wrap my mind around why she would want to be with a guy like that, honestly. But then again, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of girls out there that are attracted to guys that are just jerks. And I can't fathom that. I cannot fathom that. I'm sorry if this will be a rant and you're just like, shut up. That's just how I felt when I read the book. I was like, Sebastian is a slimy jerk who has a lot of opinions, and I just could not stand him. Also, her friend Maggie, in the show, I like Maggie. She's a firecracker, she's great. In the book, she's almost opposite, where she whines a lot and she is always needy. I liked her in the book somewhat, but I was just like, Maggie, let's regroup here. Her friend, I think her name's Layla, which she's not in the show at all, I think, if I'm assuming right. I don't think she's even in the show. Was the worst friend I've ever seen, too. I'm just like, Carrie Bradshaw, why would you want to be around people like Sebastian and Layla? I don't know her name, but, I just can't fathom that. Like, she was a jerk. She was the worst friend ever. But you know what, though? If a book can bring that emotions out of you, it must be a good book, right? Where you're just like, seriously? I was reading it and I was like, what is wrong with you? I like Carrie Bradshaw. I like how she had, in the book you see her mentality. She battles with things. Just did not enjoy the aspect of her being with those two people at all. I was just like, what's going on? I think I gave this one a 3 out of 5 because I was just so annoyed with some of the characters and I cannot get over this. Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi, and I loved this book, guys. It took me a while to get into it, I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me about 100 pages, I would say, which is usually my give or take rule where I'm into it or not. It's hard to explain this one. It's really cool, I guess. And then she gets exiled and she meets this guy on the outside named Perry, and I like that. I felt the relationship was thrown out of nowhere, though. I felt like there was really no build up to it almost. I like them as a couple, don't get me wrong. I will ship Ari and Perry all day. But the build up is like they hated each other, then they started making out. And I was like, that came out of nowhere? But maybe that's just me, I don't know. But I like that they're together. I just don't like that whole hate, make out thing. I gave this one a 4 out of 5, but I told you guys I was going to read The Raven Voice by Maggie Stiefvater. I attempted to start reading it. I got to page 70, and I just can't get into it. I don't know why. I even put it on Goodreads, and some people said just stick with it, go with it, but I just can't, and I'll eventually finish it one day. I just couldn't get into it. On to the books I'm reading in March. Now, I've noticed lately for the past couple months I've been setting myself to read 6 books, and I've only finished reading 5, it seems, and I don't like that. I want to read more. I think it's because when I do these TBRs and wrap-ups, I feel very strict, like I need to read this because my viewers want to see what I think of it, and I like that, but then I'm just like, I feel like it's almost a set of rules. So this month I'm only, did I set 6 for myself? I only set 5 for myself. And hopefully I can read them and I want to read a couple other ones that are surprises that are just books I want to read on my shelf. So hopefully I can do that rather quickly, and you know, I'll put them in my wrap-up obviously, but I hope you guys are okay with that. I don't want to be in a box as far as like I have to read these books. I want to attempt different ones almost. First book I'm reading, which I'm already started to read now, is called Lunch in Paris by Elizabeth Band, and I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and I randomly found this because like I told you guys, I don't want to read just young adult. I like to read adult too, and usually with adult I like reading adult romance. That's just my forte on. And this one caught my eye because of the cover, and then I read the description and I just fell in love. I knew I had to buy it. About a girl. Oh, okay. So it's by Elizabeth Bard, and it is about her. I did not know. Awful. I guess this is her life. But it's about Elizabeth, and she is an American girl, and she lives and works in London, and she meets this French guy, or Parisian, I don't know, named Gwendol, I think that's his name, and they strike up a romance, but he lives in France, she lives in London, so on the weekends she'll go to France and spend weekends with him, and it's about her falling in love, and falling in love with the French and Paris food. She just loves that, and what's really cool about this book, which I really enjoy about it, is it goes into detail about what he can cook for her, and the restaurants they go to, and so at the end of every chapter she will put recipes of the stuff she's eaten and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be really cool to sporadically, while I'm reading this, do some recipes from this book. Now, I'm not a fan, I don't know much about French cuisine at all, so I thought this would be a good way to expand my culinary taste as well as my book taste. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool, I think, to do an intricate, I think Northern Translation did that actually, a video of her doing a recipe from a book that she was reading, and I thought that was very cool. I will always want to do something like that. And then I saw this and I was like, I'm really loving it so far, so I'm excited to give you videos about cooking and stuff, which I do enjoy cooking. Reading that. What I'm reading is High Society by Allie Carter. Now I know this is a series, I don't know if it's on the 3rd or 4th or something like that. I don't even know much about it, honestly. It's about a girl named Katrina, and I think she steals for, I don't know if it's for fun or for a living, or she just steals, and it's about a group of it. I don't know. I've heard really, really, really good things about this series, and I'm excited to read it. So, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. And I know this book was, I should have read it in February, honestly, because I know a whole bunch of booktubers decided to read it. They even have their own collaborated video and stuff like that. And I wanted to watch the video, but I was like, I haven't read the book, so I don't want to spoil it. Should have read it in February. Sorry, I'm late to the party. I'm excited to read this one. The book I am reading is Origin by Jessica Clury. I said I was going to read this one in September, and then you know what happened? It was in my car for like 3 months, and I found it the other day, and I was like, I have yet to read this, so I'm going to read this. It's about a girl named Pia who is, I think she was raised in like a scientific lab, and she was meant to start a new race, and she starts to wonder what's outside of this plastic dome that she's always living in, or lab and stuff like that. So I'm excited to read that one. And the last book I'm reading, which I'm probably the most excited about, is Prodigy by Marie Lu. I'm excited for this. If you don't know Marie Lu, she also wrote Legend. This is the sequel to Legend, and I'm super stoked about that. It's kind of a dystopian book. It's about two people. It takes place from 2 points of views by the person's name is June and Day. They conquer up and get together, and I can't tell you too much about this book because it just takes place. But yeah, weird cover change though. Like, it's just, I'm okay with it. It's not too bad, but this one's nice and glossy, and this one's kind of rough in texture, and it's even got them rough pages on it. But I'm really excited to read this one. That was all the books I'm reading for this month. You guys know the rules. Vote for the 2 you want to see reviewed on. I should get to them this month. I don't want to promise, but hopefully no sickness will come and drag me down. And I hope I kept the synopsises good enough for you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit shorter, but it's probably just going to be as long. What did you guys read in February, and what are you reading for March, you know, St. Patrick's Day? I don't have any luck with the Irish book, so no luck there. Have a great weekend. Bye.
I tried to leave this soul on your machine, but my words, they wouldn't fit in the space after the beat. You figured it was best we didn't speak.